Hi, welcome to my class. In this video, I'm going to explain the structure of C program. So here, while writing C program, you must know where we write what. Okay, so the C program is the combination of many sections. I will explain all those sections which are required for writing the program. Okay, so the first section is documentation section. So what do you mean by documentation section? So documentation section means here we are going to provide a text. Okay, suppose if you want to give the information about the program, or if you want to give the information about the program writer, means author who wrote this particular program, like that, if you want to provide information, then we can provide that information as a text format. But we cannot directly write text, because we must inform the compiler that this is a text. And if you inform like this, then compiler simply omits it, and it does not consider it as programming instruction. But how can we write a documentation section now? Because so these are treated as comments. Documentation means a text format. So we must inform the compiler that this is a comment. Okay, na? So there are two ways we can provide documentation to the program. So one way is using two forward slashes. One way is to use two forward slashes. Okay, na? So start the text with the two forward slashes and followed by any information. Suppose if you want to write the program purpose as adding two numbers, adding two numbers. So like this we can provide adding two numbers. So the purpose of this particular program is to add two numbers. Or if suppose another way is there for document or comment, that is this particular first one is as line comment. So this is called as line comment. Okay, na? So because every line you should start with two forward slashes. If you start with two forward slashes, compiler always treat it as a comment. Okay, na? Or we can write, suppose if comment is extended to more than one line. So instead of starting each row with two forward slashes, it is better start with two forward slash followed by star, and we can write any number of lines comment. Okay, na? Any number of lines comment, but finally you have to end that comment with for star followed by forward slash. Star followed by forward slash. So whatever the information you write between forward slash followed by star and star followed by forward slash, this is treated as block comment. Block comment. Okay, na? So here by using two forward slashes, we can provide the documentation for the program. Okay, so before writing any program, if you want to provide author information and the purpose of algorithm or program or purpose of that particular C program, so simply provide that particular comment or documentation as a rows by starting each row with two forward slashes, or instead of starting that particular comment or document with two forward slashes, we can also provide the entire text as line format. But you should start that particular line with forward slash followed by star, and you can write the comment here, adding adding two numbers, and like this, suppose the purpose of author name means a writer or creator, author name is xyz. So like this we can provide a comment, but please remember, before sending the comment, you must end that particular comment with star followed by forward slash. Okay, na? So if you include any text in between forward slash followed by star and star followed by forward slash, the compiler always treat it as a comment. Okay, na? So like this we can provide a documentation, not only at the starting point of the program. We can also provide a comment at each and every line in the program. Just by after ending that particular line, just start at the end of the line, just start the comment with two forward slashes and provide that particular comment. Like suppose if C equal to A plus B is the statement, what is the purpose of this statement? Adding two numbers A and B. Is it clear now? Suppose you want to inform this particular information as a or if you want to write the text, some text related to this, then wherever this particular statement is there, after writing this statement, after putting the semicolon, they simply write the comment related to this statement. This statement comment is this statement is used for adding two numbers A and B and storing the result in C. Okay, so like this, we can provide a comment for each and every line. So this is the first section in the program. This is the first section in the program. The next immediate section is linking section or link section. We call it as link section. Okay, na? So next one is link section. Okay, na? So this link section is used for linking all the functions, predefined functions. Suppose generally in in C program, we use input output functions like printf, scanf, and other mathematical functions like square root, power. So all the predefined, because while during program development, our language development, the developers include some predefined functions. Okay, na? Some predefined functions. We can directly use those predefined functions, but we have to include where that particular predefined function is available. Okay, na? So by using linking section, we can link that particular one. Like suppose linking section starts with hash. Linking section start with hash and include like this. We need to use the keyword include. Suppose if you use printf and scanf, then standard input output header file we need to include. Standard input output header file we need to include. Okay, this is linking section. Or if you want to use mathematical functions like pow and square root, sqrt, pow, all these are predefined functions. Then we use we write include math.h. So this math.h is another header file, mathematical header file, which containing all the predefined functions which are included during the program writing or language writing. Okay, na? So we can now in the program we can directly use sqrt or math sqrt or pow. So like this, but just by providing the required number of parameters, we can directly use those functions. But we have to include this particular header file in the linking section. Okay, so second section is linking section. In linking section start with hash, followed by include is the word. Okay, now after that you can write either stdio.h. If you want to utilize printf and scanf like standard input output functions, then use this stdio.h. Or if you want to use mathematical functions, predefined mathematical functions directly, then use math.h. Okay, na? So this is second section, that is linking section. And third section in this is definition section. Definition section. So definition section is also start with hash, but here the definition section is containing define. Here we are going to define a constant value. Suppose define C 100. Let us assume define C 100. So here by using definition section, we are going to define the constant values. Suppose if constant values 100 is required repeatedly. So instead of writing 100 those number of times, just simply introduce one constant C. Wherever C is appearing, if you include this particular part in the program, wherever C is appearing, compiler simply substitute C value with 100. Or suppose if you use pi value. What is pi value? 3.14. Pi value is 3.14 something. Okay, now suppose if pi is required more number of times. Okay, now if pi is required more number of times, then here in the linking below linking section, we can use definition section. So that definition section simply defines the pi value. Means what is pi? The meaning of pi or value of pi is defined in definition section. So these two, linking section and definition section, both are combined together as predefined functions. Predefined or preprocessor. We call it as preprocessor directives section. Preprocessor directives section. What do you mean by preprocessing? So here include stdio.h or include math.h or define C100 or define pi 3.14. So these are preprocessor directives, because before executing the entire program, the compiler must execute these functions. Okay, now wherever pi is there, the compiler must substitute pi value as 3.14. Wherever C is there, compiler must substitute C value as 100. Wherever square root is there, compiler must verify where square root is there in this particular header file. And responsibility of compiler is substituting the pow related logic in the program or square root related logic in the program. So once that particular one is happened, then during execution time, compiler uses that definition and which manipulates the entire result. Okay, so that's why these two are treated as preprocessor directives. So before executing the entire program, so these two must be executed in advance. So after that, the running is started. Okay, so first section is documentation section. In documentation section, we are going to provide a comment or document related to program. And the linking section, we are going to provide header file related predefined functions like printf or scanf through standard input output, means stdio.h. We can directly include the function definition like printf and scanf. We can directly use printf and scanf in the program, and through include the math.h, we can utilize all the predefined mathematical functions directly. And another part in preprocessor directives is definition section. In definition section, we are going to define constant value. Wherever that particular constant value is required more number of times. So instead of repeating that value those number of times, just simply copy that particular value in one standard or constant variable like C100. So define space C space 100 means here C value is 100 now. So wherever C is appearing, compiler substitutes 100 at that particular place. Or we can define pi value as 3.141 or something. Okay, now wherever pi is appearing in the program, the compiler simply substitute pi value as 3.14. Okay, now. So next section in this is global declaration part. Global declaration part. So our section, we can call it as section. We are calling all these are sections now. Global declaration section. So what is global declaration section? Suppose what is C program? The definition of C program is it is collection of functions. Minimum one function should be there, that is main function, and after that it may use predefined functions or user defined functions. Okay, na? So collection of functions is called as called as C program. Okay, na? So in global declaration part, suppose if you want to make any variable available to all the functions including main, so instead of declaring that variable in all the functions, because this variable is common to all the functions, so instead of declaring that particular variable in all the functions, it is better declare that particular. Suppose if you want to make A and B or available to all the functions, then better declare that particular two variables in global declaration parts itself. So before starting main program, whatever the information you provide, whatever the declaration part you provide, that declaration part is called as global. Global means outside of main program is called as global. Okay, na? If we declare any variable outside of main program, then that particular variable is available to main program as well as all the functions, either all the functions which are defined in main program, called in main program and defined outside of the main program. Is it clear now? So that's why these are treated as global declaration part. Not only this, suppose your program is containing user defined functions, then user defined functions must be declared here. Okay, now suppose if you want to use add as a function, then you must declare add function here, add function outside. So if you declare add function outside, then we can call add function inside the main program, and we can provide the function related definition outside. I will tell you in detail while explaining functions. Okay, so global declaration part is containing variable declaration part as well as functions declaration. So functions we must declare, and the variables, if you want to make those variables available to all the functions including main, you must declare those variables outside of main program. Okay, na? So that's why this particular section is called global declaration section. We are going to declare variables as well as functions in this. Okay, na? The next one is main program or main section. Main program section. So in this main program section, so this main is a keyword which instruct the compiler that the main program is starting here itself. Main program is starting here itself. So main program is followed by curly brace, open curly brace. Here we are going to declare variables which are required for solving the problem. So that's why the immediate open brace, open curly brace, local declaration part starts. So like global declaration, in global declaration, we are going to declare variables which are available to all the functions including main. But here, whatever the variables you declare, those are available to main function only. So that's why we call it as local declaration part. Like suppose int c comma d or float e comma f. Okay, na? So I will tell you about these int and float, because these are data types of the items. Okay, na? So this declaration part is declaring all the variables of type so and so. Okay, na? All the variables must be declared along with its data type also. Okay, na? So int a c comma d, float e comma f. Here c and d are of type integers and e and f are of type floating point. But here we declared all the variables within the main program. Within the main program. That's why this declaration part is called local declaration part, because these variables are available to main program only. We cannot access C, D, E, F outside of main program, because these are treated as local to main program. So that's why this is local declaration part. So after writing local declaration part, you must write executable part now, or a statement part. We call it a statement part. Okay, or logical part. Logical part we say, or statements part we call, or executable part we call. Okay, na? So whatever it may be, the name, logical part or statement part or executable part, you must write the required logic for solving the problem. Suppose if you want to add two numbers, then here you write addition logic here. Okay, now suppose once you declare c comma d, you have to read c comma d values by using printf and scanf. Anyway, we have included stdio.h, then we can directly use printf and scanf in the program. Anyway, I will show you one example with all this. Okay, so in logical part or statement part or executable part, you must provide the logical statements or instructions, programming instructions, which are used for solving the problem. Is it clear? Suppose if you want to use your own functions, then you have to call functions here. Call function part. So before closing main program, you must call the functions. Like suppose addition of two numbers, or add off. Okay, na? So this is calling. Here we are calling addition function. So if you want to implement your own function, then you must declare the function outside of main program. You must call the same function with the same name in main program, and you must provide the definition outside of the main program. So up to this is related to main program. Okay, so go through once again. This is documentation section. Here we provide entire information related to program or author information as a line comment or block comment. If you want to provide only 9 comments, then you must start each and every line with 2 forward slashes. Otherwise, we can provide or we can include all the lines within forward slash followed by star and star followed by forward slash. And next immediate one is the linking section and definition section. So this linking section and definition section both are combined together as preprocessor directive section, because these two must be processed before running the program. So whenever you want to run the program, compiler processes these two first. Okay, in linking section, you are supposed to provide input output related functions definitions and mathematical functions related definitions here. So here we are linking, including header files of the respective functions. So stdio.h is standard input output header file, which is containing the definitions of or the code of or logic of printf and scanf. And math.h means mathematical header file or mathematical header file, which is containing all the predefined mathematical functions. We can directly use mathematical functions without writing the definition, without writing the logic. So compiler responsibility is substituting or replacing that particular name with the logic. During running time, it performs. Okay. Next one is definition section. So in definition section, we can define constant value by using define as a keyword, hash followed by define followed by constant followed by its value. So wherever C is appearing, compiler substitute C value with 100. And in this case, wherever pi is appearing, we substitute pi value with 3.14. So that's why these two are combined together called as preprocessor directive section. And the next one is global declaration part. Our section in global declaration section, we are supposed to write the variables which are making available to all the functions, including main program or main function. So here we suppose if you want to write your own program or process or function, then you must declare that function name also here, means user defined functions. And the variables, if you want to make them as a global, you must declare those variables here. Okay, now after this, you must start main program section. Okay, now so in main program section, you must start main program section with main as a keyword, followed by empty open and close the brace. and you must start your main program with open curly brace. Immediate after open curly brace, if you want to use variables, some variables, then you must declare those variables. These variables are available. The scope or lifetime of this is within main program only. So C and D are available to main program. E and F are available to main program. You must use those variables here only. Or you can provide these variables as input to function calling. There you must take the respective variables for copying. I will explain in detail during functions explanation, don't worry. Okay, so after declaring the local variables, you must write the logical part, because you here we are writing this particular program for one particular purpose. Okay, now that purpose must be fulfilled by writing or including the equivalent logical or programming instructions here. After declaration part, you must provide that information. Or suppose if you want to use your own program or procedure, you must call that particular procedure before closing the program. After that, you must provide the definition of that particular function. Okay, now definition of that function like this. Suppose if you use more number of functions, or simply write function 1, function 2, function 3. Function 1, here call function 1, function 1, function 2, and any number of functions, function n. You can call any number of functions. If you want to use or if you want to write the definition of many functions, then you have to declare those functions outside of main program. Here you have to declare outside of main program. Here we have to declare all the functions like normal variables. Like normal variables, you have to declare all the functions here. Okay, na? Like normal variables, before using normal variables, you have to inform the compiler that this variable data type is so and so. So before writing your function definitions, you have to declare function definition outside of the main program. You must call that particular function within the main program before closing it, and you have to define, you have to provide the definition of that particular one. Okay, na? So instead of writing addition logic within the main program, you can also write addition logic outside, but you must call that particular addition procedure name or function name inside the program. Okay, na? Like this, we can write any number of user defined functions, not only one function. You can write any number of user defined functions, function 2, function 3, like this. But you have to provide the logic of that particular function here, like main program. Like main program function, you have to provide what you want to write, or what do you want, what is the purpose you are created. For that particular purpose, you are for fulfilling that particular purpose, you have to include all the statements here. Okay, na? So this is the basic structure of C program. So any C program must contain, not all. So based on requirement, sometimes some programs may not requiring global declaration part. So in that case, no need to use global declaration. Sometimes some particular problem may not containing constants. In that case, no need to use definition section. Okay, like this based on requirement, you must use those function, those sections only. So please remember these section names. Okay, na? And include sections, the respective sections while writing program. So documentation, not only at the starting point of the program, document here also we can provide document, means comment. Okay, na? So what is the purpose of this statement? The statement purpose is declaring two variables, C and D as integers. C and D as integers. Like this we can provide. So whenever a compiler sees this, if any information starting with this 2 forward slashes, compiler won't consider this as programming instruction. It simply treats it as a comment. Okay, na? So not at all, compiler not at all treat it as a programming instruction. We simply treats it as a comment only. Okay, like this we can provide document or comment anywhere in the program just by following its own rules. Okay, na? So this is about the structure of C program. Suppose if you want to add two numbers, if you want to write a simple program to add two numbers. Okay, na? Simple program to add two numbers. First provide a comment. Okay, na? Program to add two numbers. So this is the comment. Okay, na? Next, I'm going to use standard input output like printf and scanf. Include stdio.h. So stdio means standard input and output header file. So here I can stdio.h. Here I can use I can directly use printf and scanf in the program. Okay, na? Next, no need to include the definition section because there is no constant I am using, and no need to declare any global declaration part because directly I am declaring the required variables in the program. Okay, na? So main program. Then through main I am instructing that the actual main program starts, means the execution of the program starts with this particular path. Okay, na? Suppose if I want to add two numbers like A and B and I want to store the result in C, then I must declare those three variables here, okay, na, as integers. I will tell you what is integer, floating point, and data types in explanation of data types. Here I don't know A and B values, okay, na? Or suppose I can also provide A, B values here itself. A equal to 10, B equal to 20. C I don't know. Okay, na? Then no need to read now these two values from the keyboard or external because I am providing the A, B values in advance. Then I can directly calculate C as A plus B. C as A plus B. Okay, na? Then I can print the result by using printf. Printf, the result is the type of the result is integer. Then if for declaring integer or reading integer or printing integer, we use %d. Okay, na? %c is dc. Then this particular one is printing C value. Okay, so here what I used, local declaration part I used, and the logical statements I used. So these are the logical statements, and this is the local declaration part. There is no need of the global declaration part here. Only include section is required because this is very simple program. This program is used for adding two numbers. Here also I can provide a local comment. Okay, na? So this particular statement is used for declaring and declaring three variables A, B, C, and also used for initializing A value as 10, B value as 20. And this statement is used for adding. Here I can provide comment like this statement is used for adding two numbers A and B and storing the result in C. And this statement is used for printing C value. So like this I can provide line comments. Okay, na? So this is by providing the values in advance to the program. Suppose if you don't want to provide the values in advance, then simply declare three variables and use printf and scanf. Here you use printf and scanf. Printf is used for providing the prompt. Through that prompt, I can alert the user to add which numbers. Okay, na? Like suppose enter two numbers A and B. So through this statement, I am alerting. See here, I am providing the prompt to the user that add two numbers. The printf purpose is simply printing whatever you provided within double quotes. It simply prints that on screen. Okay, na? By using scanf, I can read the values. But how many values I required? Two values I required. Then two values are of type integers. Then use two %ds, because %d is used for reading two integer numbers. And so once you declare these three variables, compiler automatically allocates three different cells to ABC. So through this statement, I can enter two numbers. One is A value, another one is B value. I must provide address of A and address of B here. Address of A is represented as ampersand A, and address of B is represented as ampersand B. Okay, na? Then I can write the logical statement C equal to A plus B. After that, I use the printf statement for printing C value. So C is also type integer. Then integer printing and integer reading purpose, I use %d. Okay, na? Don't worry, I will give the complete explanation during explaining the data types of the items. Okay, na? Now see this program. This is a very basic program. This program is used for adding two numbers and storing the result in C and printing. Okay, na? So here the program purpose I wrote before beginning main program. The program purpose is adding two numbers and displaying that number on display system or storing the result in another variable C. So this is main program. This is local declaration part. Here I am declaring two variables and three variables, or two variables are used for reading the numbers and third variable is used for holding the result. Okay, na? by using scanf I can read those two numbers from the keyboard. But for that I need to provide the address of A and address of B, because once you declare int A comma B comma C, compiler simply allocates a space to A, B, C, one cell to A, one cell to B, one cell to C of type of size 2 bytes. Okay na? So I need to provide address of A and address of B here, because I am going to read two numbers A and B. So address of A is represented as ampersand A and address of B is represented as ampersand B. Once you provide this, whatever the numbers you enter, those two numbers are going to be copied into or placed into A and B cells. Then if we include the C equal to A plus B statement, then compiler extract those two numbers from the memory and substitute those two numbers here. And the processor simply add those two numbers and get the result and copy the result into C. If you want to see the result on display system, then use printf statement for seeing the result. So like this, we can write the basic procedure, and this one is the basic structure of C program. Okay now. So this is the basic structure of C program. In the next video, I am going to explain. In the next video, I am going to explain the data types of the items. After that, I will start some complex programs. Okay. Thank you for watching my video.